we will dive into ancient Egypt. We start in the city of Thebes, the holy city, ruled by Pharaoh Amun-Re, or rather, the god Amun-Re in pharaoh form. His name, Amenhotep III. It is known that gods walk the earth in human form. Where they are and what their powers entail is strictly myth and legend. But Amun-Re's powers, the pharaoh Amenhotep III, have been seen by many. It is said he flies into the setting sun each evening to do his nightly battle with the creatures of the underworld so that it may rise again. Each morning, a line of priests recently awakened in the early darkness before the rising of the sun are gathered and trudged between small temples, pylons, obelisks, and halls of soaring columns. They head to the Karnak Temple Complex, where the sacred lake awaits them, that they might wash and purify themselves. The lake is overshadowed by a great stone scarab. And before performing they do this before performing the ritual of cleaning, clothing, and feeding the god incarnate within the extravagant temple in the Osiris courtyard. The central courtyard is restricted by an impressive enclosure wall. The outer courtyard is for prayer, with broad tower-like pylons forming a great path to the sacred areas. Dazzling and colorfully decorated columns support the roof, with rectangular gaps in which sunlight might stream in through the walls. The walls themselves are covered with inscriptions and images noting great achievements of past and present rule. In this line of priests is a man, I think, named Senusret. Or are you a woman?
Yeah, my character is a man.
Do you want to describe yourself for us?
So Senusret is dressed in fine robes and has an amulet. He's not carrying much else, and he's bald, and I think that mostly covers him for the moment. I think I'll maybe generate an image later to describe him a little further.
How long have you been in Thebes?
I've come to Thebes just recently for this morning ceremony, which I have been tasked with joining. And I'm hoping to make friends here, but I don't really know anyone, so I'm kind of looking around, seeing who might be a approachable, good person to make friends with.
The ice-cold water in the bitterness of the pre-morning bites at your skin, and you might never truly get used to it, but it is good to feel clean. As you move with your brothers all priests of Amun-Re, you go between gleaming obelisks, which you know can be seen from miles away. As you move through the temple at the Osiris courtyard, you see side chambers which contain extraordinary secret wealth. A small room contains the sacred bark, a small boat with a shrine aboard it for transporting the image of the god during festivals. The areas constrict and constrict in size until the final chamber is reached, the god's chamber. Novice priests called Wab are moving about, making sure everything is appropriately pure and placed correctly. There's a number of ritual items being gathered, and they scurry to the sides out of the way as the priests approach. They begin laying an immense display of food and wine on large tables before a dais and a chair, a magnificent throne. Large quantities of incense are set in bins and being lit as the pharaoh's clothes and jewels, along with oil and cosmetics and fine linens, are being laid out, waiting to adorn the high priest and pharaoh, god Amun-Re incarnate, Amenhotep III. Around this time, if not too much later, when you're getting into place to perform this ritual, which has been bred into you from the beginning of your training as a priest, commoners and scholars and nobles alike come to bear witness to this morning ritual. Amongst them is one of the eminent noble ladies, Ahura. Ahura, why don't you tell us a little about yourself and describe what you look like?
Ahura is a small but healthy frame, and her hair is black with gray streaks, and it goes down to her mid-back, and she's wearing a fine cloak.
Another group enters, this one known to everyone as being the advisors to the pharaoh, his court. Those closest to him, whose opinions he values the most. And amongst these people is Ilaku. Ilaku, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you look like?
Ilaku walks in with an air of a mixture between arrogance and meanness. He's very tall, very muscular man in a level of finery that notes his station, while sticking to a level of simplicity. He has a traditional sword with him, and he immediately starts scanning the room. A lot of war trauma might do.
Slinking in at the end of this is a woman who might go unnoticed by some, and one whom most in the crowd, if not all, would not recognize, and might even glance over as simply being a low class or a beggar of sorts. Azathira, why don't you tell us about your character a little? And what you look like.
Yeah, so Azathira, she comes in the room, kind of quietly observing everybody around her, just watching to take in, because she's brand new to town. She's trying to figure out the patterns and rituals and kind of figure out the greater hierarchy of the temple and those around it. She usually wears a cloak with a hooded cloak, and she has a wig on, short black hair to her shoulders, and she has a staff that she kind of keeps down by her side, kind of halfway hidden in the cloak. And should I talk about her head, or should I just wait until she takes the wig off?
Yeah, I don't think no one can see it.
No one can see it.
Yeah. So I'll stop there.
There's an excited atmosphere and a little bit of talk when the head of the line of priests holds his hand in the air and begins to hum from deep within his chest. And all of the priests begin to chant along with him. Thy loveliness is in the southern sky, thy sweetness in the north. Thy beauties conquer hearts. Thy loveliness maketh arms to droop. Thy beautiful form maketh hands to fail. And seeming to just appear from behind the throne stands the pharaoh, unclothed and rigid, with nothing but a tight, twisted knot of black twine around his neck. He speaks, I am the knot of the god within the Acer tree. My going forth is the going forth of Re on this day. And the priests continue to chant. And everyone in the crowd also begins to chant alongside with it. These prayers and intonations are known intimately to all of you. And this would go on for some time as they ritualistically clothe the pharaoh. He sits, and one by one his vassals bring him food and wine and set it before him, each offering him prayer or grace or thanks and praise. And one by one this is done by every person in the room, including yourselves. It would start with his closest advisors. Iliku, do you offer the pharaoh anything or have any words for him as you approach?
Iliku is a man of rigidity and ceremony. Likely offers some kind of finery that he offers consistently. Possibly like some kind of fine silk. And every time he makes an offering to the pharaoh, repeats, I kneel to no one but the pharaoh.
When you kneel to him, you feel his aura. There is a clear energy about him, and it tingles your skin. And his eyes glance over you, and no expression changes upon his face as he looks down at you. But he meets your eyes. And you know it is a rare honor to be allowed to hold the gaze of the pharaoh. And I'll open it to the floor if anyone wants to do anything in these moments.
Sunny Threat, being new here, wants to kind of as the ceremony winds down, kind of like go and check out the rest of the temple complex, but that's maybe for afterwards.
Yeah, it's. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Yeah, this is more still in the middle of the ceremony.
Right.
You're kind of, you, I suppose, in particular, are with the priesthood and observing everyone in the room kind of one by one take some food from the table and go set it at the foot of the pharaoh or hand him a glass of wine. And there's many clerks about and stewards as well that are just at attendance, or I suppose it would be the Wab, the priests in training are there just in the background, kind of keeping everything organized. We might do a test if you would want. Look at your skills really quick. So I would give you an Ob 3 perception roll as an assessment, just while you're observing everything in the room from your position. If it fails, however,
then someone notices that I'm looking around in a shifty way.
No, I think if it fails, you will falter in your prayer and it will cause disharmony amongst the entire ritual.
Oh. Okay.
So it's up to you if you want to do that or not. Otherwise, you are very focused and just, keen on completing your task.
I think I don't really want to do anything to disrupt the ritual while it's going on. I want to kind of slink in the shadows and wait till afterwards to go around and do things.
Totally. Ahura, how do you usually act during these morning rituals? It's probably something you don't attend super regularly, but you're almost required to attend just enough.
Right. So I would probably be with, let's see, I hate two tabs. Near Contour. Is his husband around?
Say that one more time, sorry.
Contour, is his husband around?
Contour? I can't.
That's the person who's having an affair with me.
Oh, he's one of your...
Yeah, my relatives.
Let me see. Court lawyer. Because of their relationships, it's up to you. Do you want them to be there?
Sure. Yeah, I'm just curious because I don't control his husband. So, is his husband around?
We'll leave it to fate. They are not.
Alright, so I am holding his hand, and I'm only I'm mostly paying attention to the thing, but I'm also looking at him. So if anyone looks at there, and we all have to go up.
You would eventually. It would very clearly be your turn to go do it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm making sure. So when I go up, I will read him a poem. Something. So a couple 100 years old, but doesn't glorify any other pharaoh besides him.
contour catches your eye. Was the poem intended for him, he wonders?
No, the scroll was intended for the pharaoh.
The pharaoh, stone-faced. It's almost as if he's not even there. It's quite strange, actually. He's in a trance, almost. Staring far off with a 1,000-yard stare. But your gift is not rejected.
Good.
One by one, you each approach and move back to your position until there's only one left. The newcomer in the dark hood.
Azathera approaches the pharaoh, bringing with her a piece of fruit from the table as a small token offering. And then she humbly offers her services as an astrology reader of the celestial sort, as an interpreter to the pharaoh should her services ever be needed. And she offers a impromptu reading there on the spot to the pharaoh should he accept.
So, even with your words, as you speak them, there's suddenly a man by your side that was at all times noticed by everyone, but also unnoticed. And this is the Vizier, the pharaoh's right-hand man. This is the man who controls the entire court, the power behind the throne. And
Do I turn to him to look
well,
at the expression
I'm
on
sorry,
his
I was
face?
trying to look up his name and I misplaced it, unfortunately. He steps up. How dare you speak directly to the pharaoh with such needs and offerings? You blaspheme this entire procession.
I offer my humblest apologies, being new to the city and unfamiliar with the rituals of the day, and redirect my proposal and services to him instead at the pharaoh's behest.
Through all of this, the pharaoh is still not moved, appears entranced. I'm thinking this would almost be either a soothing platitudes or a persuasion roll. Oh, and you have soothing platitudes. Okay. Cool. So let's see. Soothing platitudes says obstacle versus target's will. That would be a B4. So you have 2 dice of soothing platitudes. So in Burning Wheel, you can choose other skills you have that would support your argument. And so it sounded like kind of the way you phrased it was you're being very apologetic and humble and almost schmoozing him a little. You could also like fork oratory into it and say your character is actually, being a little verbose with it and kind of drawing the attention of everyone in the room. You could fork doctrine into it, and try to use kind of how you said, like, you're not familiar with these customs of the city involving the pharaoh. Don't know that you have too much else.
You can always fork astrology, but that is
And you
special.
always fork astrology with the risk of, if you roll a 1 twice, you lose a success. And your character's kind of built to do that. So if you have an argument for any other skills you have, or if you want to add dialogue essentially to kind of support it, you can do that. Ugly truth, essentially, you can lie and say, I foresaw something terrible coming upon the city, and if you don't use my services, then it will for sure happen. And that's kind of using ugly truth and falsehood in one. So you're kind of looking for ways to dialogue around your skills so that you can add dice. So if you go to your character sheet and click the dice next to Soothing Platitudes, it'll bring up a screen. Other players in the area, you can step in some way and mechanically offer help dice to try and get a test towards your own skills. That would depend on...
As soon as the witch started talking, Eliku started drawing their sword, their kospesh, and moving towards this commotion. Not doing anything yet, but sword is drawn. He's really, really ready to kill someone if someone moves against the pharaoh.
I think I would say, or Azadira would say, that she was drawn to the city for a reason she herself doesn't quite know yet, other than to be drawn to serve the priest and serve the Amenhotep the Third and Amun-Ra. But that during her journey, she did feel another presence that drew her to worry about the pharaoh himself. And so I think I would try to, fork in my astrology and oratory. Or sorry, not oratory, the
Oratories. Well, so I'll ask you this: are you speaking to him quietly, or are you speaking so that everyone in the room hears you?
Speaking for everyone to hear.
Okay, so you fork in oratory. I don't think you're actually lying. What you're saying is probably something you believe.
Right.
But we'll call it ugly truth. You can fork in and astrology.
Before we roll astrology, I was gonna say because astrology needs to be rerolled, we just want to make sure we have where that
Do
is
that separately.
Yeah, we might need to reference it separately.
Yeah, I forgot it won't account for it in the system. Okay, so click the dice next to Soothing Platitudes, and you can just select the 2 skills, and then now so say you really want this to succeed, you can add a persona dice, and you can add up to 3 persona dice to get extra dice on it.
Mine is only showing me 1.
Right, you only have
Yeah.
1 right now. You also always need 1 persona dice to if you die, you can use 1 persona to not die. So it's, can be good. It can be recommended to always have 1, but say you really want to succeed on a roll, you can add persona to it. After you roll, if you still fail, there are ways using fate to get more dice. But for now, I'll tell you that if it fails, you will be seized by the Pharaoh's guard, which the second that Ilaku moved, suddenly temple soldiers who were just blending in with the crowd have begun to kind of protect the Pharaoh and form a line in front of him. And there's 10 guards at the moment.
I can take them.
So you can always choose to not roll and take a different tactic, or you could use a persona dice to get an extra dice for a potential success.
Let's roll. What do I need?
His will is 4, so you need to roll 4 successes, and you're rolling, I think, 5 dice.
Does it need to be
4 dice?
4 consecutive out of 5? Or can I roll twice and then the best of it?
Well, if you go into your sheet and click the dice on Soothing Platitudes, select the 2 skills and click roll, it'll do everything, and it will even record the test on your sheet. And that's where you can add. Okay, so you rolled really terribly. 3 2s and a 1. So there's basically no way that you can pass that. You could, if you rolled a 6, you can spend fate to re-roll the 6s, but you didn't get anywhere near that. So
I
in
don't
this,
even see my dice.
if you
Where do you
go
see
into
it?
the chat tab, the very first tab, it'll show you what the roll resulted in. Oh, we forgot the astrology though. So in the bottom chat, you can type /roll 1d6. I'm just going to do it really quick so we don't slow down. Okay, well, you got 2 successes, but no 6s. So you cannot succeed. 2 guards move in, and each of them seizes your arm. Ilaku, do you respond at all?
Step between this woman and the Pharaoh. My co-spec is fully drawn, and I'm just it's time for you to go. Bye. I'm free to leave forever.
Azatira, I see that you have a few options here. You can try to talk your way out of this and maybe get more. Well, it kind of depends. We could do a Duel of Wits, but opening the entire game with Duel of Wits would be kind of crazy. So I think your other option is to use sorcery. I don't know what spells you ended up choosing, but if you have a way of trying to get out of this with sorcery,
Witch Flight.
Well, yeah, there's Witch Flight, but I feel like if I use that, that will be seen as more of a threat than helping me in this scenario. And I still want to maintain a sense of peace. For now, I don't want to come off as a threat. So could I leave the temple ceremony and regroup and try to approach a different way?
no, because you've been seized by the guards already. It seems like Ilaku is about to forcefully escort you from the room. But
I think Ilaku has now held up the co-specialist to your neck in as much intimidation as he possibly can to try and show off for the Pharaoh a little bit.
Oh wait, so you went up and like were like, Iliku's kind of like drawn their sword to arrest. Okay. So I have an instinct to flee when weapons are drawn. So I'm actually gonna run out of the temple because I see someone with a sword out.
That's hysterical. Alright.
I think under his breath, Iliku sees this happen, and under his breath just goes, civilians.
Sorry, I'm trying to look up my spells because I don't remember what Force of Will is.
If you click the little note and pad icon, it'll tell you what it does in your character sheet. Force of Will is a very difficult spell that lets you rewrite a character's belief.
Right. I think that could come in handy, but I don't know if I would have enough or be able to pull it off without severe consequences.
You definitely would fail, but sometimes failing is good, or at least it gets you really difficult tests when you fail, but you get a failure consequence. So I think before the situation, it begins to escalate, right? Suddenly this very intimate religious ceremony has been completely disrupted. There's guards. The war counselor to the pharaoh has drawn their sword. A priest is fleeing. The pharaoh holds up their hand, and it's almost like this deafening quiet comes over the entire space. And in very unceremonious style, the pharaoh speaks and says, "I will hear the seer's words. But know this, should they not please me, then you will be ejected from my city and from both the upper and lower lands of Egypt." And he lowers his hand, and the Vizier nods his head, and the guards let go of you, and the Vizier stares into your eyes, Iliku, doesn't say a word, just holds your gaze with a supreme authority.
Iliku nods, like as the pharaoh is speaking, is like placated. It's like the more the pharaoh engages with Iliku, the like more regulated his vagus nerve is. So I like fully placated, puts everything away, back to stony visage.
So, Azathira, you wanted to make a prediction of some sort, you said. All eyes are on you. The room is still and deathly silent.
To do what?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say anything.
To show my sincerity, I think I want to use Godwise, and kind of speak about what supposed monsters that Amun-Re had fought the night before in the sun, to kind of show my connection to the ethereal world. And to show him like that I can be of assistance, especially in greater spectacles in his honor, to kind of enhance the people's trust and belief in him.
So that's interesting. So you want to try to use a wise to make a fact that will kind of validate what you're saying or what you offer.
Yes.
So wises are common knowledge, object 1 or obstacle 1, interesting fact ob 2, details ob 3, uncommon knowledge ob 4, rare knowledge 5, bizarre or obscure 7, and freaky or specific ob 8. It sounds kind of like details to me, or maybe uncommon knowledge obstacle 4 is probably.
Could we do details?
Details. Yeah, I think details would work. So obstacle 3. So you're godwise. You have 3 dice. What do you want to fork into this?
I'm forking in let's see.
Well, you can definitely fork in Omen Wise.
I thought about that. Is this technically an omen?
That is a good point. It kind of depends on your intention, I suppose, and what kind of because you can be kind of abstract with it. So essentially what you're doing is you're doing a linked test working towards performing an astrology reading. So you're kind of using all these skills to support your end goal. So you might go, God-wise, omen-wise into your astrology, and that potentially gets you +2 dice on your astrology roll.
Okay, so I do the Godwise and then click the Omen-wise and roll.
Yeah.
And did you want any, or is this something you're planning on doing alone? You're foretelling no one can help you?
Well, your character is out of the room, I guess, huh? Anyway, so you can't help unless that's a really good instinct. Oh my gosh. I don't know.
I did see the accept help button, and I wasn't sure if I could.
Yeah, no, the help is really specific. People use a specific skill to help. So someone could step in with oratory to defend you or something. But I don't think it doesn't appear that you're getting this privilege, because Ilhu's definitely not going to help you. So are there any other forks you wanted to try to work in there?
What about bureaucracy?
No, that's literally attending to the chores of running the temple or the court or the government or the army. Doctrine. Doctrine is religious
Yeah.
doctrine, so that's kind of a given.
Okay. So I can fork in doctrine and omen wise.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Let's get it. I'm nervous.
Oh, I forgot. If you fail, before anyone can react, there will be an attack on the Pharaoh's guards.
An attack on the Pharaoh's guards or from the Pharaoh's guards?
On them, against them.
Ew.
So you can just click roll on it whenever.
Just ignore my question. All right.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Are you able to turn your volume up a little bit?
I mean, what I can listen to you with. Oh, but I got a success, so.
Okay. So, tell us this specific detail about the gods or a god that you want to make a solid fact within the lore of the game.
Can I ask a question, like outside of the game?
Sure.
Out of character. Would other gods be in this sun?
You have no idea. You wanna declare that there's a god in the room right now? I don't know if that's a
No.
okay.
No, the night before, talking about like how he flies into the sun every
Right.
night to like fight. So I'm wondering in this other planet, in this sun, if there's other gods there potentially. But I guess I can say that there is because it's God-watch. So whatever I say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can
So-
make up a detail about his nightly travel or the previous one or something.
Yeah, I will say the previous night, I had foreseen him doing a battle with the god Sauce, who hasn't been seen or heard of in decades, and that the previous night he had won in a small challenge brought forth by Sauce.
There are gasps in the crowd, kind of as you declare this. For sightings of the gods are quite rare, and decades might even be an understatement from the last true sighting. The Vizier, a man named Amenemopet, kind of scoffs and says, "And this was worth risking your life to disrupt the morning prayer," and seems just almost stunned that you would do such a thing. Ilku, take her away.
Oddly.
The Pharaoh's hand raises again. As everyone, even after the Vizier's words, all eyes move to the Pharaoh. He says, "Halt, Amenemopet. She speaks truth. I have encountered Thoth." And then he disappeared into the sunrise. She may be a true seer, Have her brought to the court. We will test her knowledge there and see what she can see. There's a lot of murmuring and gasps amongst the crowd. Senestret, you were crouching outside the door, I imagine. You see it's calming down a little bit, and the priests have kind of stutteringly begun chanting again, and they start looking around, and the head priest, who you see, a very, we'll say, not so nice man who takes his work very seriously, has clearly noticed you are not in your place.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and quietly walk back in, chanting, and not cause too many disruptions.
Ooh. Okay.
So. Yeah, I'm not sure what skill that would be.
I mean, inconspicuous is the first one that comes to mind, which is a skill you don't have.
Okay. It is not a skill that I have.
You can learn it.
That's based on will?
I think so. Actually, inconspicuous might be perception. Let me check. Is that their sheet? She has it.
Will.
It might be first in perception, or...
Do you wish to try to open inconspicuous?
Guess so.
It's not a bad skill to have, actually. And the cool thing about opening skills is those tests go towards your base stat, which is actually extremely powerful.
Right.
Now they go towards opening the skill if they're routine, and they go to your stat if they're high, not routine.
Yeah, the routines don't count.
Oh, right.
So that you want them to be
but you
hard.
need the routine stat checks to actually open it.
Yes.
So on the character sheet, there is a section for learning and practice. You can learn new skill. I'm just going to type it in really quick. Why didn't that? So yeah, if you go to a skill and click learning, it'll double the aptitude, the obstacle automatically.
Okay.
Inconspicuous. I think that's versus the general observation or perception. Observation. Okay, so it's just a versus test I will run. So yeah, you can go and roll yours without obstacle, and I'll roll mine in 2 seconds.
You should roll yours first so he knows what the obstacle is, so he can put it in there correctly.
Okay, well, I think we can adjust that around if it's... one success. Not very many.
Okay, yeah, this is so... I can't... How do I roll this from the character sheet? This is crazy. It only gives me the option to delete it. Okay, I'm just gonna roll. They have 2 dice. I got 2 successes.
Oh.
Jeez. And okay. we forgot to do a failure consequence, but very clearly you are caught by
the
the priest Userhet. He doesn't do anything because there's clearly been enough interruption already, but he holds your eyes and you can tell he is just glaring at you furiously. And you are now, he has a bit of an enmity towards you, I suppose you could say. After the ceremony is finally completed, the commoners have gone back to their laborious tasks of the day, having had more of a show than many at such a thing. The nobility also begins to exit, and only the military is left. And they hold you back, and when the temple is completely empty. But you, the pharaoh, the vizier, Ilaku, surrounding you, Azathera. And the vizier speaks for the pharaoh, who continues to sit and is no longer entranced. He seems very engaged, and it's a kind of a complete difference from what you saw during the procession. And the vizier says, "Well, Seer, you have shown you may have the sight in some fashion. Now you must prove it in full."
I bow to the pharaoh, showing my gratitude for not being beheaded by Ilaku. Maybe give a wink over to Ilaku.
Beheaded yet.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I want to do here?
Is this happening inside the temple still?
Yes.
Then I would have gone back in to watch.
Yes, I would actually say a few of the nobles, probably say the more high-ranking, or rather maybe pure-blooded ones, who are either part of the pharaoh's family or very closely tied to the family, are also still there, including your secret lawyer lover. The vizier stamps his foot impatiently. Go ahead.
I was going to say, is the fact that she's born noble obvious?
I think
that would be it.
I think it is. That's like what your eminence. It's clear.
Yeah, I have a trait. No, there's a different trait. What is it called?
Oh, the mark of privilege. Yeah.
Mark of privilege. Yeah, is that obvious from where I'd be sitting? That she is a born noble.
It's always obvious, I think.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was hidden by her cloak and it was not obvious or not. So.
No, you almost can't hide it. What's the unlucky trait? Whenever a player makes an arbitrary... okay, that's really interesting. The vizier says, "Well, what is it? What are you waiting for? You've made this grand gesture, now back it up. We don't have all day. We have court and we have the offering today."
I look over my shoulder and see Ahura in... How do you pronounce it? Ahura?
Ahura, yes.
Ahura. I see Ahura in the corner of the room watching, and I can feel Ilaku's gaze at me, as well as the Viziers, as I proceed with caution. I remove my hood and then slowly take off my wig, revealing my head, which is speckled in stars, kind of linking my knowledge to the ethereal world. And I want to fully tell, let's see, what do I want to do? Ooh, I can name a star and constellation with astrology. And so, but I could also construct a horoscope. Kind of fun. Maybe should I read the horoscope of Amenhotep III? Of like his aura for the day? Would that be interesting? Or is that boring?
No, I think that's a really hilarious idea, actually.
Yeah.
Tell the pharaoh
Let's read his horoscope. Clearly a Virgo. I can feel it.
Do you...
Yeah. How does he feel about that?
So, would you just offer to do that, or would you just do it, do you think? Like, and take it, like, really seriously?
I would do it and take it very seriously.
Because they essentially don't know what you're doing. They're just, like, quietly watching you perform whatever rituals you do when you do astrology.
Right. So hoping they are impressed with the spectacle that is my head.
So here's
Oh, do I roll first and then kind of like go on with it?
Potentially. Well, I'll tell you this. So if you fail this, they will all like find you to be a laughingstock, and they will give you to Iliku to do with whatever they will. If you succeed, so here's the thing. Oh my god, I can't talk. Creating a horoscope is obstacle 2, and you have 6 dice, so it's routine. Like, it's a pretty easy roll for you to pass. You know it doesn't help you advance to do routine tests, so you would want to use this probably as part of a linked test to eventually lead into what you could write a belief essentially around. I will predict a crazy omen or make some fact with Godwise, and you're leading into that with all of your skills. And that's kind of why the way link tests work is if you fail the roll by more than 1, you actually get your obstacle gets harder, but if you beat it by 1 or more, you get an extra dice on the next test in the link. So doing an easy roll, starting with a horoscope, is a really good idea to build towards something else, because it's like easy successes to link in. But you will, and then you can decide if you don't want to have that failure consequence, you can back down from the roll.
Okay, I think I want to do that, and I can then link that dice. So yeah, first I'll start by, in very serious demeanor, let's see. So with her head exposed, the lights on it, the little nodes begin to dim, revealing just one constellation. And let's see. I predict that Amenhotep will have a very easygoing day the rest of the day, that there will be no more interruptions, and that in his the next night when he returns to the sun, that he will see once again he will see Thoth. And so I'm gonna roll for that. I have 6.
I don't know if
I don't really.
so that kind of prediction would be a wise, not astrology.
Oh shoot.
But like within the vein of the horoscope, it could be like he has a troubled night during his travel, and like fights more creatures of the underworld than usual or something. Or just, I like your first thing, like having an easygoing day is you're getting a really bad echo.
Oh, sorry, I'll mute myself.
Yeah, having an easygoing day is enough to in itself, I think. It's actually I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah, I'll say that. I'll say he'll have like a very easy day with no more interruptions, but might have a more difficult than usual night during his journey into the sun. I don't think I need to fork anything.
I hope not, but we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So with that, I then continue into Omenwise and maybe tell him on his journey he will, let's see. I'm so sorry. I'm so terrible at improv.
So
Like,
take your
on
beliefs
his-
into account here. What? Now, how can you tie it in to one of your beliefs? There's also mold breaker, which is if you completely defy a belief.
Defy a belief. Oh, I guess I could go kind of like putting it with my beliefs. I can use Omenwise to start the rumor that Thoth has returned and will be challenging Amenhotep the Third in the real world in the coming months.
That's a pretty good one. That's a difficult omen-wise, so that would probably be... Ob 5 is rare goods or information. Ob 7 is bizarre or obscure. I think we'll call it Ob 6 right in between the two. So think about what you can fork into this. You also have +1 dice from the linked test. What was your first test? Wasn't that a linked test too? Soothing platitudes? Oh, but you failed. That's right. So actually,
So
because you
14
failed, you get a
total.
minus, or you get a +1 ob because it was a failure on the first part of the link.
How do I put in a +1 ob?
I do that. So you just have to add your 1 dice. So you can be fairly liberal with your forks also. Like oratory will count because you're speaking in front of this crowd, doing this performance essentially. Religious history can be tied in. So your folklore specifically lets you create wards against the dead and weapons that can harm the dead. And so if you could tie into your wise, your fact, something about needing that defense for some reason, but it's kind of like if you fork in folklore, you have to add to your wise, your fact that you create and make something about that also be real.
I can say that I would be a useful tool in the future, in that I could create a special weapon that would help him in his coming meeting with Sauce, and help him prevent an overthrowing of his seat.
That'd be cool. Okay, what other forks do you want to try to justify using?
Should I try Godwise?
I mean, Godwise seems obvious.
Okay, Godwise, religious history, folklore, oratory. Do you think that's enough?
Doctrine applies because you the player are not an expert on ancient Egypt, and so you the character speaking in the gods of such a way, like seeing omens about the gods, you would be tying in. It ties into all the doctrine that your whole society is even based on. So that's why you can fork doctrine into a lot of stuff with the way you built your character.
And ugly truth, maybe?
Yeah, ugly truth sounds applicable.
Let's try it.
And did you want any help?
I think that would be interesting. Could I look to Sinistret for assistance in creating this token for Amenhotep?
I have knowledge about Thoth. I don't know if you know that yet, but I could help with some information about Thoth. With what?
What specific skill are you going to use?
Cult of Thothwise.
Yeah. So would you would have to step in and kind of make yourself a part of this and draw attention to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone already knows who I am after the little incident in the temple, so.
So what would you see your character saying or doing to intervene and assist?
Yeah, so I think maybe as Thera is talking, I can, walk up and kind of whisper some information about Thoth in her ear, just so to, kind of give her advice while talking. Like maybe if the vizier is whispering in the pharaoh's ear, I will go up and whisper in Esthera's ear.
I don't know if you'd want to do that, because I think you do want to maintain your standing with the court, and I'm not sure if I'm the best one to latch on to immediately. You might actually.
That is a good point.
Yeah, I would approach the vizier if you could. That would probably.
Do you have oratory, Senator?
I do.
Oh, well, that could.
I think maybe.
Oh, maybe not.
Nope. Never mind. Just obscure history.
So if you're using the Cult of Thoth,
then perhaps not.
Well, it would have to be. You'd almost have to add information such as like you've heard rumblings of the cult recently or something. You know, I don't know. There's a way to use that one. Also, you just said you had obscure history. You could probably help with that too. Some obscure fact about, knowledge of Thoth or something and what this might mean, her omen or doctrine, or I think Cult of Thoth works too. But yeah, I think she's right that she's like kind of in the center of this circle, basically, of people enthralled with what she's doing. I don't know. For you to run up and interrupt her to like whisper in her ear would be really interesting too. Like I think that, but it'll cause a scene for sure. And
could I start like whispering to the other priests and about how wasn't there something about last time that the pharaoh, or last time that Amun-Ra was walking the earth, Thoth was as well, and maybe it's fated that they'll have another conflict.
I think it's a great idea. I believe in this system, when you click accept help, it won't automatically do it. You still have to add one more bonus dice. So you should have 2 bonus dice, click accept help, and then whatever forks.
What does that do again?
What does what do?
What are the forks again?
Those are the similar skills that you use to get that +1 dice.
Okay, so it's just the exponent being the 4 dice, the bonus dice to click accept help, and then click the forks and then roll.
Yep, exactly. Except astrology, don't do astrology. But if you're going to use astrology, tell us. But that is a way to get a dice and potentially lose a success also. Wow, you got 7 on 7.
Nice.
So mark a routine test for your Cult of Thothwise, and your omen comes true. Or at least is believed by those around you. There are gasps in the crowd as you put on this spectacle and make this grand statement that is hard to believe. Does anybody... I'll let players react first if there's anything to be said or done.
Iluku Looks like he's trying to hold it together, and also like you just killed a puppy in front of him. And immediately just starts being like, all right, one more god to kill, person to kill, it's fine. I'll kill everybody.
I just put some notes in the journal.
The Vizier begins demanding for the guards to clear out everybody. Iliku, have your men remove all of these civilians. Have the court return to the palace. Prepare for the arrival of the Pharaoh and sends you all on your way. And take this seer with you as well. Find them holding. Give them some bread and beer.
Iliku does not like being told to be a concierge, but like will not let any displeasement show in front of the Pharaoh, so just like nods and like stands uncomfortably close to the witch on like the weapon side and is like, come with me.
And everyone is escorted out while only the Vizier and the Pharaoh and a few choice guards are left within the chamber. We find ourselves out in the Karnak Temple complex. Okay. Take it away. What do you do?
Well, so I'm new in town, so I'm gonna, take a while and wander around the rest of the temple complex, just checking it out.
What is the outer temple again? Or the outer yard?
The yard that's not separated by this massive stone wall within this complex that you are exiting out of, heavily guarded, lush with people and the types of wildlife that can be cultivated in the desert in terms of flora. There are donkeys everywhere, donkeys. Oh my gosh, what, cows, Jesus. There are cows everywhere. And you're actually in the more nicer area of the complex, and so there are some horses, mounted soldiers. Horses, are quite rare, but the Pharaoh is recently returned from a 10-year campaign into Nubia to the south, where he employed chariots, which were hugely successful. So you're seeing a lot of signs of the reapings of a successful war that lasted a full decade and has literally only within the last couple of weeks ended. So the whole city's still on kind of this high of conquest and expansion, and there's a lot of new supply lines coming in. So you've also noticed that the military and the court have been stretched really thin lately.
Mm.
Give me 1 second.
Is there any commissary in this, or is it all just religious?
This whole complex is religious sites. Some of them several hundred years old to even older, and there's actually 2 sites that are being constructed, one of which is supposedly going to be the largest religious structure ever created in the history of Egypt. The construction in the city seems almost endless anywhere you go. They use sledges, rollers, levers, thick rope fibers. Slabs of stone are being slid up ramps of rubble, and there's just workforce everywhere. So there's this huge intermingling of priests and religious people there for prayer and construction, just constantly taskmasters, assembly lines. The city is expanding more than it ever has before.
So I think while being escorted out of the temple by Iluku, I replace my wig and return my hood on my cloak above my head. And when we exit the temple, I will turn to Iluku and offer a portion of my rations that have been allocated by the pharaoh in order to try and make friends. Or at least...
So what would you say? So you're being forcefully escorted out.
Right.
What would you turn and say to Iluku, excuse me.
I would turn to say, I would turn to Iluku and say that his aura that morning did not go unnoticed by me, the attention, and that in good faith, I offer a portion of my rations as allocated by the pharaoh for that evening.
Iluku looks at you as you're like hiding yourself again, and like talking some like woo shit about auras, and looks at your, as like a high-ranking member of court, looks at your little rations and your whole thing, and he has clocked you as a threat, but this makes you look, in his eyes, like less of a threat. So he quietly rejects them and like looks forward and continues walking you towards like the hotel like guest area of the palace, with like 0% kindness, just scoffs a little bit at your little rush.
I'll take that.
Ahura, what do you do when you're ushered out into the temple complex?
When I leave, I head to, I guess, whatever would be like an office I'd have, or something equivalent of, and I would start writing down what happened today, changing it slightly so that so everything came out much nicer. And the pharaoh he interrupted a little bit earlier. Ika didn't have to be told down by the pharaoh ever, and that's what I log officially is what happened today at the Carnival. And I also then, after I finish that, write down everything that actually happened in my own journal and hide it. And I assume that'll take me a couple hours to actually do, so.
Do you see yourself living in the guest housing of the palace?
I live in I have, well, two places, technically. I have a villa that I live in, but technically, as the chronicler, presumably I still have that job, I probably have something near the palace that I actually work out of. In or out in the palace. Like for their official records.
You live amongst the other chroniclers, even.
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, because you're noble-born. Gotcha. Okay. You're a permanent. It's a pretty renowned rank to have. As you are literally referred to as your eminence.
Correct.
I'm sorry. Senderstrat, you exit out the long path you took entering. You pass the barge. You pass many corridors in the base of this pyramid complex, and you exit into the fresh, hot air, the sun high overhead. That took far longer than expected. Your fellow priests are already chattering and some splitting off in other directions as word begins to spread of the events when you feel a hand on your shoulder. And Userhet, his fingers digging heavily into your skin. And may I ask what that was all about? You nearly ruined everything.
I just have such a fear of blades. I'm terribly sorry, Userhet. I just was compelled to run away at the mere thought that blood might be spilled at the ceremony.
He looks at you with contempt and kind of mutters under his breath, like, Anubis, feed your heart to the devourer. You are useless, Senderstrat. You are weak. You must overcome this. Your fear can be overcome with prayer. Ask Amun-Re to cleanse you, for clearly the lake did not this morning.
Yes, I will. I will pray for guidance. Thank you.
I shall have you lead the ceremony tomorrow morning.
Oh.
Hopefully you're ready for that.
Of course. I shall ensure that I am ready.
If not, you'll be sent back to where you came from and we'll all be rid of you finally.
I will ensure that I am ready, Userhet.
He just smirks and storms off. The complex itself is 100 hectares. There are many areas of religious study in here. There's a great tomb surrounded by smaller structures. There's the Osiris courtyard where you are all exiting from. The Hebsed court, which is a very important ceremony that the pharaoh goes through. There's many chapels built. There's a whole Northern Palace and Southern Palace, each with their own courts and smaller temples within those. As you move out of the complex into the greater city of Thebes, you see 2 rows of Sphinx statues, which, again, more construction kind of everywhere. The new temple that's being built, the biggest one ever constructed to date, is going to be connected by a row of these Sphinx statues that's over 2 miles long, connecting the Karnak site and complex to this new temple being built.
Wow.
And you all, most of you, seem to be making your way towards the Malkata Palace, which was built several hundred years before the current date and has been home to many pharaohs. And this is where Amun-Re and his family and all of their court and servants live. And it is also currently the largest residential structure in the entirety of Egypt, and has been for several hundred years. Standing over 490 feet high. It was built over the course of 20 years, and its history goes far back. You all pass through the Grand Gallery to simply enter the facility. What do you want to do? As Aethera, you have room and board covered. It's probably the nicest accommodations you've ever even imagined in your entire life. Iliku, what do you want to do with your escort?
I definitely passive-aggressively took her past all of the empty en-suites and all of the empty, multi-rooms and all the empty ones with, living rooms. I took her to, the base model room, completely arbitrarily. Silently open the door and wait for her to go in, and Iliku stays for a moment, watching you size up the place. And Iliku asks you as you're looking around, what's your true business here?
Speaking to you as a girl.
Yeah, no, I'm contemplating. Like I said, I'm terrible at coming up with stuff on the spot.
It's a crazy bitch.
She is. She's probably better at this than I am. It's a shame that I'm her words. So as Aethera enters the room, she begins to look around and sees that it is not as ordained as the other rooms that had passed, but being a noble born, she is kind of used to some of the kind of inner workings of nobility and the power play, and is unfazed by the room itself, and thanks Iliku for the safe passage to her room, and says that as far as her business is concerned in Thebes, that she herself is still not sure, as she was drawn by a presence within the astrological realm to the city and to Amun Hotep specifically to offer her services. And for now, that is all she knows.
Iluku grunts and Lockheal turns away and walks off and leaves you to your room.
Is the door locked? I'm just curious.
Say again?
Would she have locked the door? Or he locked the door?
I don't think so. I'm not like a prisoner or like a slave to the temple.
Yeah, I'm not so sure the door would be able to be locked if there even was a door. In a lot of these buildings, most doorways are covered with linen of some sort. So in the more nicer houses, obviously, there would just be heavy drapes that act as your doorways.
Okay.
Now, because of where it is, there might be more guards than usual.
Yes, there's a high presence of guards throughout the entire palace. And you just know that these really extravagant materials being used as doorways have obviously been imported from other lands and are likely worth more than entire villages in Egypt. A single one. The wealth disparity at the time was quite notable. For as soon as you are out of the court, such as where Senestret is right now. So Senestret, do you stay within the temple complex, or do you make your way in towards the city? Or do you make your way towards down the Sphinx path, as they call it, towards the new construction? That's kind of your... Or do you go somewhere else entirely? Iluku, where do you go after you drop the witch off?
I want to go to whoever let her in. I want to see if I can talk to any of the first people that interacted with her and start poking in at the witch's history.
Okay, so this is called a circles test. So you're looking for a guard, I suppose. Or you're looking for one of the scholars who organizes which commoners attend a morning ritual each day. Which of those do you think you would be more interested in?
I would go for the second option.
Okay. You can add a character knowledge for someone to have special knowledge, which increases your obstacle by 1 from members of Circle. Actually, yeah, it would be a +1 obstacle to find the person in charge of putting that together.
You're gonna have to walk me through this.
So, up 3. So, we'll also say if you fail this roll. If you fail this roll, you will be late to the gifting event that's happening soon, where a tribute is paid to the pharaoh and all of these. It's essentially once every week. They have these massive tributes where spoils of war and goods and artifacts and animals are sent from conquered lands to be presented to the pharaoh. So you're going to spend so much time trying to find this person that you will be late to that, and your presence will be missed.
Okay. I still want to do it.
I figured. So if you go to skills,
It's in stats.
I'm sorry, it's under stats. Yeah, stats and attributes. You'll see circles. And if you click the dice, now you can add persona to circles, but that's it.
Does she have any affiliations that would help her?
She has one affiliation, I think, about drinking. What was it?
I can outdrink anyone.
Okay, alright. I'll remember that for my rations next time.
Yeah, so I personally wouldn't say add a persona to the test, but it depends on how badly you don't want to fail, I suppose.
Oh, wait, okay, so don't add a person, guys.
So it's up to you. So the way personas work are if you spend 10 persona on a skill or stat, you can make it better over time. Long story short, a very minimal explanation of that. So you kind of want to pick and choose where you spend your persona, but your whole goal is to get more persona all the time, and so it really comes down to if you want to succeed or not.
But don't forget that if you use your persona up, you won't be able to prepare yourself on time.
That's true.
So it's always risky to spend your last persona.
Okay. I'll save them for now.
3 1s. Yikes. You literally can't
Very
get a
strong.
worse roll. But you got a difficult circles test, so that's cool.
Where did they go?
Suddenly you realize it's well past noon. The sun is beginning its drop in the sky. And you realize you are late for the tribute ceremony. Senusret, where do you go?
Yeah, so I'm gonna actually go look for Illakun, Illaku, to ask for help ensuring that my the morning prayer, if I'm going to be leading it tomorrow, doesn't have any disruptions with people drawing weapons and things. So
I would just grant that you can find Illaku back, because you didn't really leave that area, and Illaku kind of went back to that area to question the guards and find the people organizing, and so they're in the temple complex, so you find them after a bit.
yeah. Hey, Illaku. It's nice to make your acquaintance. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a bit of a coward. So
I did notice.
I'm supposed to be leading the morning prayer tomorrow. So I'd really appreciate it if you could, encourage all of the guards that you're leading not to, draw any weapons or make any, too sudden movements that might scare off any priests, specifically me, during the ceremony tomorrow.
This is impossible. Our duty is to protect the pharaoh, and if someone moves against the pharaoh, we must protect him at all costs.
Right, but maybe if you could just, if someone moves against the pharaoh, just try grabbing them first instead of like stabbing them.
But then how would the pharaoh be protected?
If you just hold them and then take them away.
Your concern should be with disruptions to the morning ceremony and not those that stand to protect our only god.
Yes, exactly.
So we're in agreement.
Right, yeah. I'm just asking you to, maybe, if someone like the witch, didn't really seem to be necessarily a threat to the pharaoh's life, then maybe that doesn't need to disrupt the ceremony.
Can I intimidate? Can I add intimidation?
I think you already have.
Illaku is a big guy who's seen some shit, and you're a little squire, so he already towers over you, and he stands over you, and just says, "I would remind you that you have one purpose, and to figure out what you need to do to serve that purpose." And I don't think Illaku is going to wait for you to respond before he goes off and tries to find the guard. Unsuccessfully. And then he goes and gets lost for 6 hours, so.
That went well. Sanistret, what, been belittled a bit. What do you do next?
Yeah, I guess I'll go hide in my room and pray for guidance tomorrow. So. Wander down to the main city and take some quiet time to pray as user was it user hat?
Userhet. Had
recommended, so Senator Sarah will go and just spend the day in prayer.
Do you want to challenge a skill or a belief in some way and potentially have a maybe not so great outcome, or do you want to peacefully pray? Essentially.
I mean, I think anything I can do can be forgiven if I can bribe the afterlife judge.
Yeah.
So,
well, I almost would see it. You treat it as a links test in some way, leading into you leading the prayer with doctrine or something.
Yeah. Okay, I'll think about that for a moment, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, and you don't have to either, because if you do it as a link test, it can have a negative outcome. So there's a kind of pro and con to doing that. But so I would maybe make a doctrine test now for the prayer in the morning, is what you're saying? You can do it however you want, really. It's totally. I just thought the idea of linking it so that when you lead whatever you think you want to use to lead the service, I just said doctrine because it just seemed off the top of my head the most plausible.
Okay, yeah.
But you could try to get a +3 to that if you take a couple steps leading into it.
Okay, yeah. I think one of the things that I'll go is I'll go right up the things that I'm going to say now with writing,
That's a cool
and
idea.
sort of pre-plan my my priestly sermon.
That's a really cool idea. Let's see. I don't want to do because it already has a downside. It gives your next roll in the link a -1 if you fail. And so I'm thinking. If you fail, let's see. Writing says your name 1, copying letters 2, composing a letter 3. Are you kind of scrounging through texts and scrolls to study and write what you want to do and how or are you more crafting from your own?
Yeah, I think I know that I'm maybe not the best speaker, so I'll maybe go and look through the library and find some previous prayers that people have written, and maybe copy some of those down.
Okay, so it's up 2.
All right. And then can I fork in read to go, read something from the library, and then temple-wise to include some comments about the grand temple that we're in, or that we will be in for the morning prayer.
Yeah, temple-wise works.
Works.
So I think if you fail this, you are going to find a text that will actually give you a clue as to maybe some movements of the cult of Thoth.
All right.
Is that the cult you meant,
oh,
or
wait.
do you mean the cult of Anubis in your instinct?
Because
you're familiar with both, I actually suppose. So.
You're right.
Does it matter
I
which?
think I'm actually
I guess actually
I'm interested in cults in general, but the. Oops.
I mean, yeah, it can apply to both, but really. Just cult evidence in general. You follow leads to it.
Yeah, I have an affiliation with the cult of Anubis, and so but that's maybe a local thing, and so I kind of want to get to know more of those people, but they're pretty secretive, so I have to kind of work to find more of them.
Yeah, the cult, your affiliation is local within Thebes, which is still very large of an affiliation, and you just don't know. Essentially, you aren't known by cultists of Anubis outside of Thebes.
I was thinking that it would be local to outside of Thebes, and then because I've come into Thebes recently for the morning prayer, and so I don't actually know them here, and so I have to go find them here, and so that's kind of what the instinct is for.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, and then so you said temple-wise, read or no?
Yeah, read works the way you're doing it.
That's a success.
And you beat it by 1. Oh, you beat it by 2. I think it's still just +1 to the link.
think so.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Perfect. So you spend some time doing that. Would your character be interested? Like, would you be keeping an eye on the time to go to something like the tribute?
I think I have a trait about that. Meticulous. Mm,
No, a call on for reading. Oh, interesting.
but all non-physical martial art skills take the maximum time required. So, I mean, I would, maybe keep an eye on the time, but maybe not. Yeah, I'm maybe a little too focused on what I'm doing.
I think if Sanistret was interested in attending such things, they would arrive late
Mm-hmm.
due to being so meticulous of their tasks. All right. Ahura, would you be going to the tribute?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone else want to do anything in particular before we move to that scene? I suppose as Aethera, you get dropped off and apparently left to your own devices. What are your first thoughts? What do you do?
I think my first thoughts are to go out and travel, and just kind of like walk the grounds around like the outer temple in an effort to just kind of listen and hear what is being said, just among the commoners. Let me pull up my chart. So I think this would be where my inconspicuous comes in as far as like observation.
Conspicuous, the skill is more about making yourself seen. Oh, you have inconspicuous.
Inconspicuous?
Sorry, I misheard. Yeah, if your goal is to eavesdrop, if I can think of the word, then inconspicuous works. What forks would you use?
Yeah, I think I would want to like as the day is winding down and some workers who have been working on the new temples are like maybe having a final meal together before they go and rest, I would want to try and listen in just to hear what they say. Get some tea.
Okay, so
That's the only thing that comes to mind right now.
Sure. Not from region, +1 ob. And versus their observation.
And you're trying to not be a noble. Not if you're no. So I believe that also gives you a thing too, or your mark privilege. Yeah, you're trying to masquerade someone not below your station. So
So it actually increases the ob
yeah.
because they have a mark of privilege from a different area of Egypt. Interesting. All right. I need to roll 2d6. I get 0 successes. So base ob 1. If you fail, let's see. If you fail, you will start to kind of be known throughout the palace with a negative reputation. And people will be, you'll overhear them talking about you, and not in a good way.
Okay, so the objective is 1. I have 2 dice. Yes?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Did you say I get that I had a +1 die for being new? I may have misheard you.
No, it was, you had a +2 ob. So actually, I rolled 0, so it's ob 2. I don't think you had your only bonus dice are forks.
I don't know what forks I could. What's a mark of privilege?
It's one of your traits. You get it from. You have to have it from Green Golden Noble.
It has it as like an optional obstacle modifier.
No,
It's not. It's
yeah. There's, you know what, you could you can fork. It's a sort of a stretch, but you could probably fork temple-wise, because your character has a general knowledge of layouts of temples. But that might be your only thing that can go conspicuous.
and she is inconspicuous. That's a what kind of test is that? Yeah, it's a social test. Yeah, so you can also for astrology, like always, almost
Oh, right.
always. So remember that has the special rules.
So astrology. Oh, I turned the noise suppression on. So like, is there still a reverb coming?
Testing.
Yeah.
Yes, when I speak.
Shit. Sorry. Okay. I'll do the astrology and temple wise.
Okay.
Work those in.
So don't click astrology and then roll.
Don't click it.
No, because astrology is a special dice you roll by itself.
Okay.
I forgot I have to reinstall the modules. There's normally an easy dice roller. Let me put that back in.
Okay, and then I re-roll the astrology one.
Yep, just roll astrology. Yep. You just
Wow, why did...
Sorry, my
There we go.
forge just like reloaded.
same.
So you got... Okay, so yeah. See the... Oh, it did it. Oh, that's why when I changed. Okay, you can now click on. Oh no, it didn't do it. That's really annoying. Okay, so yeah, you
I can now
just
click
type.
what?
I'm just gonna type it. Here's your astrology roll. A success. So you got a 6 on one of your dice, which means you can roll. You can use a fate point to roll that 6 again and try to get another success. You don't actually need to because you have 2 with your astrology fork. But it's one of those things is so you eventually have to spend 20 fate on a single skill to make it better. So it's like if you wanted your inconspicuous to be better one day in the future, that's what Fate and Persona do in the long run when you use them on skills. I would recommend holding on to your 1 fate that you have right now because you've succeeded. So.
Yeah, I'll hold on to that puppy.
So you're moving through the palace and no one seems to pay you really any mind or heed you at all. There's a ton of activity to help distract from you. There's what's it called? I'm sorry. The Grand Gallery essentially connects everything in this very large pyramid structure that the palace is built around and throughout. The Pharaoh's court is here, the various large chamber halls, one of which you are seeing all sorts of exotic plants being kind of towed around in large pots full of soil. You're seeing animals that you've heard of from distant lands but maybe never seen. These giant birds with really long legs that you look like you could ride on one that could easily hold you, amongst other things. There are baboons that are just lounging around, sitting around with people, like just seem to be part of the ambiance of the place. When you look closely, you see that they have no fangs. They go to bare their teeth, and it's all gum, and men just hang out with them and drink and toy with them almost. They appear to be some kind of pet, and it's quite common to see. There's every now and then a small pack of dogs will run past you. It's well known that the pharaoh allows his beloved hunting dogs to roam the palace free rein. You can see all of these exotic goods are being taken in one direction, clearly all with the same destination. You hear rumor about what happened in the prayer that morning. Word of the omen is spreading. Word of Thoth returns. Thoth's return.
Cool.
Would you follow the kind of trail to the tribute that you hear? That's kind of also the big talk right now. The whole palace is focused on this. There are captives from the recent war that are coming in. There's a lot of activity, and it seems to all be centered around it. So would you go that direction, or would you use that as an opportunity to sneak somewhere else and try to do something else while there's a diversion going on?
I know I'm lame. I feel like I've caused enough chaos for the day. So I think I want to go to this thing tonight and just kind of sit in the background, watch, listen. Maybe I might pick up some more tea.
I would tell you too, as you're moving about and listening in on a lot of different conversations, you kind of learn the plan of the day. After the tribute, it's known that Pharaoh hosts. The tributes happen only once a week. Nearly every 2 to 3 days, the Pharaoh hosts an audience for anyone essentially to come and make requests of him or speak with him. And those are typically more important events that are brought before him. Everything goes through the Vizier first in terms of squabbles between landowners or legal matters in general. And so there's a true audience happening with the Pharaoh himself later. And then in the evening, and so throughout all of these two, there's always prayer happening, very specific prayer sessions that are led by the Pharaoh himself. And so it's pretty easy to even follow the Pharaoh around. Like it's always kind of known where he is. So if you follow into the audience chamber hosting the tribute, you would find a large number of guards. All of the nobles are gathered. The court of the Pharaoh is there, the entire court. You recognize a procession of chieftains and kings from some of the smaller cities throughout the Upper and Lower Egypt. Clearly there to pay their own tribute as well. They have brought with them a multitude of followers and laborers bearing extraordinarily carved gifts and decadent jewelry. They bring in logs of dark ebony wood, various types of trees, as I said, with their roots in like baskets and bundled in dirt, feathers from exotic birds, furs of large wild cats. There's like a cart full of elephant tusks being brought in before all of you. And just kind of being set as if they're being placed to be presented to the Pharaoh, who is not yet there, nor is the Vizier. You actually can tell there's a main entrance that everyone's kind of waiting for these doors to be opened so that they might go take their places in the audience chamber where the tribute will be paid. Everybody who wants to be there right now is there, except for, well, I guess Senusret and Iliku are both going to be late to this. So Ahura, I imagine you're there or arriving soon. And you see this strange woman who disrupted the prayer service enter and kind of skulk around.
I just keep an eye on her, what she's doing. Does she look like she recognizes anyone?
You.
You would, how would you recognize me? Yeah.
Didn't I see you this morning?
You, in the crowd.
Yeah, remember? Well, no, because I saw you after everybody left. And it was just like the nobles, and I turned around and kind of saw you standing.
That's true. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Background.
I knew I forgot. Okay.
So I might come over and just kind of weaving behind people. Make my way to where you're standing. And just inquire about how long you've been with the priesthood and
I'm not with Bruce at all.
Sorry. You're a.
I am technically a chronicler still. Noble.
I might come over and ask if there.
I put my finger up.
Do what?
I put my finger up as you start speaking. I will tell you this once, as you appear not to be from here. You will, if you are to speak to me again, you will read me by my proper title, your evidence, from now on. And I put my finger back down.
I apologize, Your Eminence. I only came over to inquire more about the morning ritual and let's see, what do I want to know? I want to know if, as a new commoner, if there is anything that you may tell me of interest regarding, like, maybe the Vizier's schedule.
Ooh. Are you playing the a new commoner? You said. Is that what you refer to yourself as?
I mean, I'm a crazy witch, but I'm kind of like commoner status, right?
Oh, I can see by your looks. You are not born a commoner.
You're right, I was not. I was born a noble, and I left that life to search for unspoken truths outside of the palace walls.
And you wish to know the Vizier's schedule. He spends his day, supposedly, with the Pharaoh. But I don't think I have anything special I would know about it. I merely just write down the goings on in the Hecate table in the court once in a while.
And would you happen to have the recordings of the last week? Are those open knowledge?
What would that be under? I'm trying to think.
Well, you have Courtwise for one.
I don't know. There's no. I don't have Courtwise. Oh, I do. Okay, there it is. Oh, I stay put that backwards. Okay, yeah, yes. Some of it is open knowledge. Obviously, the Pharaoh's safety is paramount. So, and those are military plans. When those are discussed, those are kept more secret. But his schedule has been fairly consistent last week. Though, is he normally here by now?
You are just waiting for it to begin at the Pharaoh's leisure. The doors will open from the inside, and the Vizier and the Pharaoh are known to be waiting from within, from secret
Right.
passage.
Yes, but does it normally have it started by now?
No, you know you're a few minutes early.
Okay. He should be here shortly.
I would inquire if you, let's see, if in the last week you had heard of any rumblings of Thoth before my arrival.
I heard none that I can recall. At least, no more than would normally happen. There's always rumblings of all the gods.
I thank you for your time, Your Eminence, and hope that the evening events go well, and I pardon myself and recede back into the crowd.
Hopefully we shall speak again later.
It's not long before the wide doors slide open and you're let into a grand hall within this pyramid structure where the pharaoh, his guard, and the vizier await alongside many a scribe cross-legged with their parchments spread on their knees and skirts, ready to begin recording everything given to the pharaoh. And you take your places among the crowd. The guards seem a little agitated and on edge, and almost a little out of sorts even. Almost as if they lack leadership in some way. And a large kind of ceremony begins almost as one by one various lords or deliverers from other lands, conquered states and settlements and entire nations even, bring forth elaborate gifts and present them and kneel before the pharaoh. All of what was seen kind of out in the hall waiting comes through the various goods, the rare lumber and plants, feathers and jewels. And then you begin to hear the noise of animals echoing, and it almost creates this almost eerie setting as they lead one at a time in, these birds that are almost two-legged riding animals, more baboons on thick leash. They bring in the four-legged kind of speckled creatures with extremely long necks, yellow and brown in color. Cubs of the great lions are offered to the pharaoh. And it's about this time when Iliku arrives. You find yourself walking past a plethora of rare fauna as you make your way into the audience chamber a bit late. And as you move through the double door, you're startled by a roar, and you find yourself next to a massive black bear, this four-legged beast, half as big as you, and you can tell it's young. And you take your place, standing just off to the pharaoh's side, essentially, with the other advisors in the court. The peak of the entire thing is when a full 100 horses with plumes and feathers on their heads dressed in these kind of elaborate garbs and laden with furs and quilts and linens, which very clearly come from far-off lands in the Asiatic countries. And these are all presented to the pharaoh, and it's just quite clear that Egypt is flourishing under his rule. When there's a bit of a commotion and a woman steps forward. She was with one of the groups of women that were being presented to the pharaoh to become part of his court. And she begins uttering in an unknown language, very guttural, and waving her hands in the air, and you see she's holding something in her hand. Looks like some kind of rod or small spear, maybe. Any reactions to this at first?
Can I try to understand her? I have foreign languages.
Let's see. What would you want to use? Foreign language?
Foreign languages.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't take that one. Let's see. Specific. So, let's see. If you fail a foreign language test, tough one. If you fail to understand what she's saying, we'll have the guard react too late.
Okay. It's fine. Would I be able to forecast either doctrine or etiquette, depending on what she's saying? Or folklore, it's a little more sure. Yeah, it's depending on what she's actually saying. Like, if she's like related to those things.
Yes, I think I would let you use doctrine and folklore, probably.
Okay. And then what's my op?
Well, it's an ob 5. Mystical or esoteric language.
Okay.
This is so random, but I do have sorcery, and it says sorcery is the skill that allows the character to understand written or spoken magical formulae. Do we think that this lady is speaking anything magical?
We can definitely resolve that next, especially if you two play it that you're still kind of near each other and want to collaborate in some way. Can you help with sorcery in some way? It's interesting.
I guess that's what I'm wondering.
You have
Would
to.
sorry. Would ancient languages be better?
Oh, let's see. Appropriate to the game setting. I think it still classifies as esoteric. Ancient literally says just use the foreign language obstacles.
Yeah.
But
But would it count
I
as
see where you're
ancient
going
language?
in the spirit of that, and I think it still counts as just more of an esoteric language.
Okay, but it's not an ancient esoteric language.
Yeah, I mean, I think even so, Ob 5's pretty notable. I'll say still that you don't understand what's being said, but you know what you're hearing, and then not only will the guards respond too late, but like there will, going along with that, there will be an attack on the pharaoh.
That's fine. No, that's okay. So keep it a foreign language because that's what I was asking.
You can roll either one, whichever one you want the test on.
Ancient. And that's... Where are we? What? I think those two. And I'm also going to fork in astrology.
Perfect.
Okay, do we figure out a way to help with sorcery?
So the sorcery skill is more like how you can use sorcery because you recognize magic. It's without the gifted trait, sorcery is just like an academic skill. So if you want to play that you're near them still and tell them, you can aid them with sorcery, yeah. But it means you'll be close together.
Okay, so
It means you're neither
think
of
I
you
would
are
like to
very
do that.
close to like what's going on.
So are you helping?
I would like to help.
Okay. Do I have to put that under miscellaneous author?
I believe so.
No, it's not misleading.
Or just bonus dice?
No, it's bonus dice. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just one for you, right? It's like I think you're not over 5, right? I think it was. Your sorcery?
My sorcery is at 4.
Yeah, okay. It's 5, and it goes up to.
It's 2
Plus
dice
2.
5, yeah.
Okay. And then so let's see if there's. Now I roll my. Oh, does that work? Do I have to reroll again?
Oh no.
See if I don't get
One
another failure.
on the astrology dice. Dang.
I lose a-
Again. That was so funny. Well,
I lose a success. So I got 2 successes. I also get 5. Okay.
so
Oh, cool. Fills it in myself.
as Aethera, because it says it was a difficult test under ancient languages, you mark a difficult test on sorcery. Oh, it is, yeah.
No,
No, it's have to succeed,
she,
doesn't it?
Actually, I don't know. She's helping. So I don't know, but she would mark. I think she would mark it with just. She did not mark it based on mine. She marks it based on her.
Oh, on
skill.
hers. You're right. I'm sorry. I totally missed it. Yeah. So, rolling for so you actually got a challenging.
On mine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Challenging is
sorcery
always
test.
one higher ob than how many dice, whatever your exponent is. But don't worry about that. There is, I don't know if you checked in under journal, there's rules digest, which is just some quick, nice references. Things that come up. If there's something in there you think to add, let me know. Okay, so this woman steps forward and a streak of white electrical fire comes bursting out of whatever this rod she's holding in her hand, and it strikes a guard, and it leaps between 3 more guards, and they are just torn to shreds, essentially, and set asunder, and the smell of charred human flesh fills the air, and this crackle of energy and sound fills the hallway, and the animals begin to go berserk and screeching, and it sets the horses riding up on their hind as all of these men and women attempt to flee or get them under control, and the entire room becomes something of a cacophony of sound. Does anybody else oh, and it's that's the point that Senestra is walking into the audience hall.
Great. So no one's drawing weapons right now, but it's still kind of scary. I think it probably makes sense for Senestra to roll steal to even go into the hall at this point.
Yeah, for fear.
Right, yeah. What would be the ob of something like that?
It'll automatically calculate based off your hesitation.
Oh, okay. I see. Solid.
Nope.
So Senestra kind of sees what's happening in the hall and cowers outside for a bit.
What is your hesitation? Because I think I might have taken the obstacle I had typed in into account.
Might have what?
What is your hesitation?
Isn't it 10 minus your will?
That sounds right. You should.
Then I think 5.
Yeah.
I think 5 would be correct.
Okay, so it was just a coincidence. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Although I think you can have it go up with or make the op higher with sorcery involved, but I think this is a failure regardless.
What steal reaction do you take?
There's a stand and drool. What was the it's not, I wouldn't pick run away.
Yeah, stand and drool or fall prone and beg for mercy, essentially, or hide.
Yeah, I think it's some combination of those, basically cowering outside of the room and just kind of against the far wall, kind of peeking in, seeing when things will be over.
Watching it unfold.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
Iwaku moves to strike this woman.
Okay, so you rush towards her, and she begins screaming in just blood-curdling agony, and as you approach her, you see that the whole front half of her arm has been blown away, and it's just a charred stump, and she's just in complete agony on the ground, and this somewhat short rod of black carved stone is lying there by the ground. It depicts this demonic beast with the body of a winged lion and a falcon's head, a creature you know as a griffin.
Is the griffin, do I know that to be a sigil of one of the other gods?
No, more just like a being of intense magical focus.
So it looks as though this woman has like gone like bippity boopity, and then her arm blew up and she blew up 2 of my guards.
She blew up 3 of your guards, and it apparently blew her arm off as well. The Pharaoh
I think
seems unharmed.
I would have the wherewithal to want to question her. I think I would gesture to one of the remaining guards to like seize the weapon and don't touch it with your skin. And then I would move to like, I mean, she has 1 arm, so I think it'd be pretty easy to like stand her up and restrain her.
Yeah.
I have Touch of Ages. I would come forward and offer to do a reading of the object to get its name. Yeah, what it is.
So Iliku, she approaches you. Asks permission to cast a spell on it, I guess.
It's a trait.
Yeah, it is technically. Yeah, but to them, you're just like weird.
Sure.
I think Iluku glances at the Pharaoh, and as long as the Pharaoh remains unfazed, I like nod at the witch that she can do detect magic or whatever.
So the commotion kind of dies down a little as it didn't escalate. Other than her screaming in terror, the animals they're leading the animals out, onward and upward to where they belong in the Pharaoh's kingdom. The Vizier approaches. The Pharaoh has been standing this whole time and seems completely calm throughout. Hasn't spoken. You just feel power emanating from him, though, even as you gaze upon him. He seems inhuman, almost to you, though he has strong bearing resemblance of a man. I forgot I made this. But, Vizier says to you, Seer, it seems trouble will follow you everywhere you go. Perhaps you are causing all this, or you brought these terrible omens upon us. Perhaps you've orchestrated this entire event, and now you wish to seize this artifact for yourself, or use it against the Pharaoh god.
I would not. I would like to aid the Pharaoh and the temple to understand this object's power and have it recorded for future encounters of potential future encounters of similar threats.
All eyes move to the Pharaoh, who just nods his head. And the guards step away, clearly fearful. They were already hesitant to even go near this object. So you just want its name? What it is, basically? Type of object? Or
Okay,
name of object?
I do have like different. So there's like OB1, OB2, OB3. They all have different things.
Right.
OB1 is time/name, type/name of the object. OB2 is age. OB3 is length of time the object has been in its current location. OB4 would be recent events surrounding the object that left physical evidence. And And then op 5 would be recent events that left no physical mark. I guess I don't know how many die do I have for this.
It says you roll perception, so that's under stats. You have 6 dice.
Mm-hmm. We could. Oh gosh, and I can't fork anything into this, can I?
Not into
No.
stats.
But someone can help you with a stat. I'm not sure what.
That's true.
I think what I would want at least is recent events surrounding the object that left physical evidence. So an ob 4.
Sure.
I don't know if anyone can help me.
I guess I can help with perception. It's like a total sense thing. Based on the fact that I could have read about it somewhere. Or similar things.
Yeah, that would be logical.
Yeah, but I think it's only 1 for that still. I believe stats are... You have to be 7 to do +2.
I think you could use skills to help people who are rolling with stats, but not the other way around.
That might be it.
I thought it was one of the ones where you can only help with the same ability.
No, you can almost... Yeah, you can help... You can't fork. That's what it is. You can't fork your skills into stats.
Right.
But you can help. I think it is. Let's see. Actually, let me look at the books.
So there's nothing that can help me.
No, I can help you.
You could help with straight history too, essentially, or obscure history.
Yeah, if I can help with stat. I'm just looking at my skills. Yeah, I'm gonna help with obscure history. Is there a relic? Yeah, just...
Relic-wise...
I'll help with relic-wise.
Any of them work, really.
Yeah, so you get one +1 from me. So.
Okay, how do I roll or do you roll for me?
You roll.
No, you roll.
Where would I do that?
Under
Under-
skills or stats and attributes.
Under stats.
Perception.
So then I do bonus die 1 except help.
Yep. Oh my gosh, you're so close and no 6s.
Yeah. Is it perception the one that requires you to have a success to advance it?
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the stats does.
I think it is perception and resources and faith, I think, are the 3.
Yeah.
So...
And sorcery.
And sorcery.
Is this something I should use my fate on?
You can't.
You can't because you don't have any 6s.
I gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, alright. Let's see. We forgot to do a failure consequence. Let me think for a second. So, you move in to grasp this thing. You have to touch it and hold it. And you are trying to draw out a lot of power and knowledge of it. You take a superficial wound as this thing appears to have somehow physically drained you just by touching it and trying to use kind of your sixth sense on it. You feel
Do I also take a wound then?
weaker. No, because you didn't actually touch that.
Okay, because I'm supposed to take in the consequence by helping her. So
Yeah, I don't know that I'll apply it in this case, though.
okay.
Because you're just there observing and probably like speaking, to her about handing off knowledge. You know what I will do is I'll have you make a steel test.
Okay.
So, Ashley, if you go into your character sheet under gear and combat, and you see where it says B1, B2, SU, click one of the boxes under B2, SU. That stands for superficial.
And what's the difficulty for that skill test? It's just meditation, right?
The difficulty?
Yeah, just meditation, right?
Yeah.
Wait, did you say
Oh my
with
gosh.
the SUB2 the first bubble?
Yeah,
The top
just
one?
one bubble for superficial wound. You can sleep those off, but it will hurt your rolls until you sleep it off.
Honestly, if I may, I don't think it's a lose-lose, or like, I think it was a win-win situation, because even me trying that and like getting superficially hurt, hopefully that would have helped my standing in the Pharaoh and Vizier's eyes for me taking such a risk.
Yeah, and I will also say that. So when this happens, you get this this blood dripping from your nose, and you don't even notice it. Your eyes are closed, and everyone kind of watches you go into this trance and almost like visibly begin to shake as you hold this rod of dark carved stone and you kind of gasp for air, you come out of this trance, and the thing very clearly was burning your hands like really badly. You have almost second-degree burns on your hands if you'd just been plunging them into the hot desert sun over and over, holding coals. And all the guards step away, and nobody even wants to come close to you, except Illiku, maybe. Vizier. So, what of it? What have you learned from it?
I was unable to gain any knowledge as I was a little weak going to touch it, but I thought that the risk was worth the reward if I had found out any knowledge that would please the Pharaoh.
All eyes go to the Pharaoh, who stands for a moment and then holds out his palm and speaks. This just grand, elegant, booming voice says, "Bring it to me, daughter of Ra." Holds his palm out. You take it to him. Or do you defy him?
Wait, are you talking to me?
Yeah. You're still holding
Oh, he called me a daughter of Ra?
daughter of Ra. Ray. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Do I have to roll anything?
Only, if you are not going to give it to him, we'll do something. But if you're just gonna hand it over, you just hand it over.
Okay. I go to grab the tablet with one hand, but because it's so heavy, I know that I will have to use both. And I wince as I pick up the tablet because my hand is so hurt from its singe. I slowly try to get up and stumble a little bit as I take the tablet over to the pharaoh and hand it to him.
So it's a rod of stone, not like a tablet of stone, just to be clear.
Sorry, rod of stone.
Yeah, that's okay. He takes it, he closes his eyes and just holds it firm, and after a moment opens his eyes and sticks it in his, kind of ties a little string around it, attaching it to his sash. And says, "Perhaps the seer has come to us when we need her most." Looks at his vizier and says, "I would ask that you see that she is also in attendance at my assembly." And then he just goes and turns to leave as if nothing had even happened and this was all of little concern to him. The vizier looks clearly annoyed. Turns back and says, "You failed to find out anything about the object. I don't see why he would want you there." Disgusted. "Get her cleaned up. Take her to the physician," she says to Iliku. He says to you to...
Iliku is obviously very annoyed at being on witch nanny duty again. But given that the pharaoh has given her the green light, is much softer this time in interacting with her. And rather than direct, makes to lead her to follow the instructions of the vizier.
Everyone begins to just disperse. Many of them already had. The guards take up their stationary posts. All of there's a loud echo and noise as everyone's kind of forced back into the grand gallery area. The grand gallery is just this huge open hall near the entrance of the pyramid. It's full of alabaster vessels, gold vessels, potteries. The king's carrying chair is on display, easily accessed at a moment's notice if the pharaoh wishes to be traipsed around the city in any way. There's a whole area designated for toiletries with alabaster pots full of everything you might need cosmetically, knives of gold, razors of gold, kind of are set on these small, fairly well-made wooden tables of some of this rare lumber that's being brought in from conquered nations to the south and the east. There's a multitude of people, respected priests to aristocrats even, moving around in quiet speech, loud speech. There's bartering being done. It's just this grand space full of all sorts of activity. And as usual, defanged baboons and hunting dogs roam about freely. And we can probably stop there and do Artha for the first session. Does anybody want to do anything in particular or any kind of setup for next time?
I think Ilaku is gonna try to take more of like a good cop bent in getting to know Azathera. And try to gain her trust a little bit.
Well, we might as well go ahead and start with your Artha then. So if you go to your beliefs on your character sheet, your first belief reads, I will protect the Pharaoh against enemies from without and within. I will convince the court to run sweeps of the city to root out non-believers. So it seems like you've taken steps towards that. Protecting the Pharaoh.
Right.
So that earns you a fate point. And so you're at 2 fate. All gods are a threat to the Pharaoh. I will kill Anubis. I'll find a group of his secret followers. You haven't really pursued that at all this session. And then Egypt must never stop expanding. I will gain control of the court to expand the military. I will get the eminent Ahura to support me at the next audience. I don't know that you really did much political maneuvering. Yeah, but that's definitely something to work towards. I kneel for no one but the Pharaoh. Didn't get you in trouble. Draw your sword at the first sign of trouble. Didn't really... Actually, it caused Senusret to specifically flee, which caused a lot of trouble for him and opened up a whole new avenue of kind of storyline for him. So I think I will give you a fate for that one. And then I strike first, ask questions later. That didn't come into play. Your character traits: drunk, mercenary, and xenophobic. I don't think those really came into play either today. Senusret, do you want to go next?
Produce.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think using my position as a morning ritual priest to make friends in the Pharaoh's court, that kind of backfired a little, but I think I'm definitely working on that. And I think my actions will be forgiven if I can bring enough money to the afterlife. I don't think I really did anything for that this session. And then I think to rob the tomb of the previous pharaoh, ask Asthera for help meeting someone. I think I didn't quite get around to that yet either. So I think really just the second belief.
You get one fate there. Instinct. Flee when weapons are drawn. So yeah, same thing. Get a fate from that.
Yeah.
Always follow leads of cult evidence. You succeeded the test. I was trying to force you to have to do that. Cynical and lunatic. Interesting. Don't think either really came into play.
No.
Not to get you in trouble anyway.
But meticulous got me late to the ceremony.
I think that's a call on, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it had gone worse for you or had impacted things more, I'd probably give it to you. But that seems resolve itself pretty well. 'Cause you failed the skill test, if I recall.
Yeah.
That almost would have been like if it didn't work and that could have led to something different. Okay, Ahura.
Alright, well, there was no into Senrat in the tomb, so that didn't go through. And then I also didn't look into why the priest of Thoth claimed that Thoth is the true rightful leader of the gods at all, so neither of my beliefs came at all. I did invoke my instinct for proper etiquette, but I don't think that caused any problems.
Yeah, no.
Nor did curious.
Would have been interesting if her character was the type to like refuse to do that. Then that definitely could have led to something. But
Yeah.
she kind of gave in to really
And
quickly.
then curious didn't really cause any issues either. So I don't get anything.
Curious,
Fine.
know-it-all, prone to exaggeration, strange, and your eminence. Well, that'll be a cool double fate kind of always trigger if that happens. Okay, so then we can talk about. So I actually would vote to give Core embodiment because he pretty much purely played kind of in character. And I really like what he did with his kind of haughty, kind of better than thou, know-it-all scholar type.
The raising
Thanks.
of the finger. That was nice.
Say that again, Ashley. What'd you say?
I said him raising his finger because I
Oh.
didn't refer to him as his eminence. Very in character.
Totally. Let's see.
Is that Fate or Persona?
That's a persona.
Okay.
There was no real like right skill, right time. There was so I don't know if you've earned Workhorse yet, Gretch, but the more you get forced into babysitting and escorting, you'll probably earn a Workhorse persona eventually.
Ew.
Yeah, sure you know that. And then MVP, yeah, no one had the like groundbreaking. No one saved the day in any way. Cool. All right.